Hello, and welcome to the Film Pulse podcast. This is episode number 497. My name's Adam Patterson. With me today, we've got Kevin Rakestraw. Hey, Kevin.
Hello.
We're also joined by Ken Bakley because this is our year-end episode. How you doing, Ken?
I'm doing all right.
So, like every year, we're going to go over our top 10 films of the year. This, of course, is always an arbitrary list, and there are movies that we haven't seen that maybe would go on the list otherwise. Yada, 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 all the, prerequisite things that we have to say before getting into this. I feel like every year there's at least one movie that I see like later on that I'd be like, oh yeah, that would definitely go in my top 10.
Oh, absolutely. I was just like thinking about like all this stuff that I didn't end up seeing in time, as is always the case. And yeah, it's always worth emphasizing how arbitrary these lists are. I mean, just a few moments ago before we started recording, we were talking about, release dates and how we tinker with lists or don't. Or so it's, this is just a snapshot of where we are on the day that we're recording this.
Yeah, exactly. So before we get into the list proper, were there any titles that you guys didn't see that you think could have been in contention to make it on the list? Either one of you can start.
Well, I can't know, obviously, like how I'm going to respond to something, but just in terms of like things that people were really talking up, I have not had the chance to see The Zone of Interest yet. I have not had the chance to see Maestro or May December even, which is it's extremely unlike me to just like not see a Todd Haynes movie as soon as I can. I don't know how that happened.
I haven't seen any of those either, and I was toying between May December and another one to watch this morning, actually, before we recorded this, and I chose against May December, so I don't know if that would have made it on my list or not either.
Yeah.
I have not seen The Iron Claw. That one may have definitely could seems like something I'd be into, so that's really the only one other than Zone of Interest.
I haven't seen The Iron Claw yet either. Yeah.
Kevin, what about you? Are there any like specific ones?
Oh, I'm sure. The Iron Claw, like you said. What was the Boy and the Heron?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's called the newest
Miyazaki.
Yeah, I have a feeling that would probably be up there. And I'm sure there's others. There's a lot of stuff that some of the big name stuff. I didn't really prioritize.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen Oppenheimer.
Ken and I were talking about this. Like I feel like every year I just watch garbage all year and then like hold off on watching anything that's like really good until the very, very end of the year and just cram it all in. I need to stop doing that. But like so many of the movies that end up on my top 10 are so like they have like a very specific mood attached to them, and I'm like never in that mood. Like man, I don't feel like being sad and depressed today. But then those movies end up being like, the best ones. So I will often be like, oh, I could watch this like, really heavy think piece, or I could watch like some mindless slasher movie, and that's usually what I pick.
Yeah.
But there's always going to be a bunch of stuff that I miss every year. And with that,
the catch-up period is always a lot.
It's just you just cram so much in. Let's get started. We'll start with our number 10s. We'll work our way up to the top. Ken, we'll start it with you. What was your number 10 film of 2023?
My number 10 is Topology of Sirens by Jonathan Davies.
Nice.
I did not get a chance to see this, unfortunately, but I heard good things from Kevin.
It's on Mubi. I recommend it very much. Just a really brilliant directorial debut, I believe, and a film that just uses its settings in such an exploratory but also such a well-controlled way, if that makes sense. There's just so many different layers that it peels back. It's so interrogative and inquisitive, but it's also very. I think that the comparison I keep coming back to when I think about it is it's like a poem almost.
Mm-hmm.
There's just something very rhythmic about it, and it's a film very much about sound, and some of the best sound work of the year, as far as I'm concerned.
Cool. Kevin, what's your number 10?
My number 10 is Hannah Ha Ha.
Okay.
I can't remember what festival that played back when we saw it. Slam Dance? Was this a Slam Dance?
It might have been a Slam Dance.
I think this was a Slam Dance. So this finally came out, to everyone. This is on Tubi.
I thought we saw this. We did see this in 2022, right? But it just came out this year.
It just came out this year. And this is one of those kind of laid back, kind of slice of life, just kind of meandering indie narratives.
Mm-hmm.
And the central performance from Hannah Lee Thompson. I was just really in sync with this movie. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
All right, that's Hannah Ha Ha. It's interesting. A lot of the points that you just made about Hannah Ha Ha, I have the same feelings about with my number 10, and that's Earth Mama from Savannah Leaf. This is kind of also just a little bit of a slice of life about a young pregnant woman who is going through the system and trying to do what she can to just keep her get her two children back from CPS and also be able to keep her unborn child. I will say that it is visually really great. It's one of these kind of very super almost docu-fiction style films, and I thought it was pretty incredible. What's her name? Tia Nomore. She was absolutely incredible. Probably one of the best performances I've seen this year. So highly recommend Earth Mama.
That's one I didn't get to see.
Ken, what's your number 9?
My number 9 is You Hurt My Feelings by Nicole Holofcener. Just a very well observed and performed examination of its characters, thoughtful and very richly textured in ways that are still light and funny, but also very searching. I'm having some problems, I guess, today with my word choice, but
Kevin, this was one that you were a big fan of, I remember, and I didn't get a chance to see this. I want to see this.
Yeah, this is just a movie, or the type of movie that I just enjoy. Like, if I'm in the mood for this type of thing, man, did this hit the spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. Kevin, what's your number 9?
My number 9 is Unrest from Cyril Schablin, the Watchmaker movie. This one's just growing on me. I mean, of course, it has the Watchmaker aspect to it, so that helps. But just everything else, like the philosophical and the political implications of this movie, of how using, the regimented aspects of watchmaking for the particular region of Switzerland, and just kind of juxtaposing that against the workers being anarchists and just trying to rebel against the rules and regulations. It's just and just the way in which this is shot too. I am a sucker for any time that the action is kind of focused in like the bottom left of the frame.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's just kind of like in the background.
I like that too.
Just a lot of that going on. This is just a really interesting interesting movie that I ended up actually buying for the watchmaking school. I was like, fuck it, I'm buying this. I use the company money and buy it.
Nice. That's cool. My number 9 is All of Us Strangers by Andrew Haigh? Is that how you... Andrew Haigh?
Andrew Haigh. Haigh.
This is I heard good things about this. I wasn't super familiar with it. I just knew that it was about like two people who meet, who live in a high-rise building, and they meet and they have this kind of whirlwind romance. I didn't really know anything else other than that. So needless to say, I was a little bit surprised to see like where it went. This is a pretty devastating, emotionally devastating movie, but at the same time, there's just so much heart in it. It's almost bittersweet in its presentation. It's fantastic. Incredible performances here by Andrew Scott and Paul Mescal. Also, Jamie Bell and Claire Foy have really great roles in this as well. I didn't see it going. It went to places that I just didn't expect, and I think that this was maybe one of the biggest surprises for me this year. So again, that's All of Us Strangers.
I completely agree. I agree so much that it may appear on my list somewhere.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, watch out now.
Foreshadowing. Ken, what's your number 8?
My number 8 is Rain Allen Miller's Rye Lane. Just a truly delightful romantic comedy with brilliantly conceived setting, so vibrantly realized, and featuring a terrific pair of lead performances from David Johnson and Vivian Oparah. It's just a way to get to know these characters, and the places it goes may not be the most surprising or what have you, but it's a great time. I don't really care about whether I'm surprised or not about the direction of a story, especially for a movie as just well made and wonderful as this one.
All right, Kevin, number 8.
That was another one that I wanted to watch.
Yeah, I didn't get to see that either, actually. That's Rye Lane.
Mine is How to Blow Up a Pipeline by Daniel Goldhaber.
Okay, all right.
That was this one is just, for me, this was just a kind of a very economic, taut, thriller type movie that just worked really well for me. It knew what it was doing. It stuck to that path, and man, did it just execute. I just thought that this thing was tense as hell.
Yeah, I agree 100%. My number 8 is Oppenheimer. I don't have much to say that hasn't already been said about this. Ridiculous cast, really intriguing story, great filmmaking here by Christopher Nolan. Love the cinematography, love the score. Yeah, just great filmmaking here. Oppenheimer. Check it out, Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Looking for a good time? Check out Oppenheimer.
May have heard of it.
All right, number 7. Ken, what do you got?
So my number 7 was actually my number 8 because I misread my list.
Nice.
So my number 7, which was my number 8, but I guess is also my number 7 now. We'll just say that that I don't know.
It's a
tied,
tie,
even though it's a very different movie. Is Christian Petzold's A Fire?
Oh man, I haven't seen this either. This is a crazy year.
Yeah, it's a fascinating movie about where we follow just a completely ridiculous main character as he alienates everybody around him, and then everything starts to fall apart. in other ways, but it's also very funny. It's a little bit hard to explain. It's very much about the nuances of these characters and their interactions. But yeah, a fire.
Nice.
Number 7 or number 8.
Whichever you prefer. Kevin, what's your number
Yeah.
7?
Whatever you want it to be. My number 7 is also another slam dancer that came out this year finally, and that is The Civil Dead by Clay Tatum.
Oh,
I thought
Mhm.
this thing is just time with this movie. I thought it was really inventive, really funny, and I found that the ending was kind of quite surprising. Like, essentially the entire tone of the movie, I was not expecting for kind of an emotionally devastating ending that it's able to accomplish.
I kind of forgot about this movie.
Well, I'm here to remind you.
Yeah,
The
no.
Civil
it's-
Dead.
Yeah. Cool. My number 7 is Perfect Days. This is the new Wim Wenders one. This is definitely not a movie for everyone. It is a very, very kind of subdued sort of slice of life movie again. And basically it just follows a guy who is a janitor in Tokyo, and it just goes through his day-to-day life. He is dedicated.
yeah.
He's dedicated to his job. He does his job to like the fullest potential, and then he goes home and he reads books and he tends to his plants. He loves gardening. He likes to listen to Velvet Underground and Lou Reed and Patti Smith, and that's pretty much the movie. Like it's just this very kind of somber, like slow flowing piece that I just kind of instantly fell into the groove with and absolutely loved. Koji Yakusho is the lead here, and he barely has any dialogue at all. He plays a very kind of quiet, somber type of character, but he still really packs an emotional punch here. Yeah, I loved it. Perfect Days. This is a Kevin Rakestraw movie here, by the way.
Yeah. No, that's not-
This movie's like, it's like it was like almost about you, Kevin.
That was yeah. As soon as you started like listing what this is about, just like, yep, yeah, that's all me.
Yeah, I think you.
That
I
should
think
watch list now.
I think you'll like that one. All right, we're at number 6. Ken, what's your number 6?
My number 6 is Justine Trier's Anatomy of a Fall.
Okay.
Wonderfully devastating, if those words make sense, character drama, courtroom drama, featuring a roundly brilliant cast, led with a terrific central performance by Sandra Huller. Yeah, it's a lot. You're going through all of these different layers to the story, to its individual elements, kind of searching through time and searching through exactly what we're learning about these characters as we learn more about them. But it's done with such incredible command, and again, it's just so brilliantly performed. Anatomy of a Fall.
Anatomy of a Fall. Kevin, what's your number 6?
Hey, another slam dance that finally got released, and that's The Sleeping Negro from Skinner Myers. He also plays the lead in the movie as well, so he's directing and acting in this, and it's just him going through his life and trying to overcome the rage that he feels in the society that he's living in. And this is on Mubi. It finally got released on Mubi, so I highly recommend checking it out.
I really liked this movie a lot, and I didn't know it came out this year. It might have been on my list. So
Yeah, and it's interesting because I was like, oh, because when I put it up on Letterboxd, it says 2021, and I'm like, man, okay, did I misremember this? But the only thing it has releases wise is just Slam Dance. It doesn't even have it got released digitally.
Mm. Yeah, it's this one's great. I didn't. Yeah, I had no idea it came out this year, but I definitely recommend checking that out.
Yes.
All right, my number 6 is The Holdovers. This is from Alexander Payne. This is just a great time. The complexity of these characters, the setting, I loved the 70s setting in the wintertime, New England prep school. I thought it was very funny. It was poignant. I highly recommend it. We did a full review on this a few weeks ago, so you can listen to that. But yeah, definitely recommend The Holdovers.
Yeah, this is another one that maybe just missed my list, but yeah, it's really good.
All right, we're at the top 5 here. Here we go. Ken, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is Oppenheimer.
There it is. Oppenheimer.
You know,
coming back at you.
Yeah, when we talk about great technical craft or immersive sound design in the movies in 2023, two of the best, Oppenheimer and Topology of Sirens.
Yeah, that's sound design, man, in Oppenheimer. Oh, wow.
Just two very, very similar movies.
Pretty much exactly the same.
They're pretty much the same movie at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but yeah, just Oppenheimer. It's great.
It is great. Kevin, what's your number 5?
I keep hearing about this Oppenheimer.
It's worth a look, dude. I'm telling you.
To seek it out, yeah.
I know. It's a hidden gem, is what I would call it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Interesting. I'm going to go for like a bigger name movie for my next one. You know, things that people have heard of besides this Oppenheimer thing. And that's Eyeballs in the Darkness, the sequel to Tux and Fanny. Tux and Fanny 2, so to speak.
Yeah.
You could say. I have a feeling that if a Tux and Fanny related anything is released in a year, it's going to be in the top 10. Just a heads up moving forward.
I do love Tux and Fanny. I really do.
There's something about Tux and Fanny, man. I'm a sucker for it.
I'm not sure that this would have made it on my top 10, but this is another one. When I was trying to look through and I saw it, I thought that this was last year. I thought this was a 2022.
Well, this is one of those weird things where like the majority of them are, because he puts them out as episodes,
right? Yeah, and then
and then the full thing comes
kind of
out.
A weird, it's kind of a weird thing with
but
those.
It's just my way of, hey, watch Tux and Fanny.
Yeah, I would. It's great. My number 5 is Anatomy of a Fall. I agree with pretty much everything that Ken said. This is just it's an immensely kind of devastating movie, but it keeps you so engaged. Like you don't know where it's gonna go. It's funny because like the whole conceit here is like you don't know if she did it or not, but at the end of the day, like it hardly even matters. It's really it's really everything that leads up to it, and it's all part of it. And yeah, it's incredible. Highly recommend Anatomy of a Fall. Love that poster too, by the way.
That's a great poster.
All right, number 4. Ken, what you got?
My number 4 is All of Us Strangers. I feel like every year I'm always going to bring up a movie then and say, this is one of the best movies of the year. It's about family and memory. Well, here you go. This is my family and memory selection of 2023, but by no means my only one.
I feel like there's often a family and memory one on my list too. I'm kind of partial to those as well. Yeah. And this one was just so, man. I again did not expect it pretty heavy. This one's pretty heavy. Kevin, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is surprisingly a Netflix movie popping up in the top 5. And that's They Cloned Tyrone.
Oh my god, I forgot about this. God damn it. I think that this probably would have been on my list. But I totally was this like an early 2023?
I'm pretty sure.
Man,
It was
That's always dangerous.
God.
well, no,
damn it.
it's saying July. Came out in July.
Oh,
It's mid-year. But this to me this is probably the biggest surprise for me out of the entire year. A, because I didn't know about it coming into the year. B, when we decided to watch this, it's like, oh man, a Netflix movie? Like, okay.
Damn.
But I don't, it just in terms of like a really well executed sci-fi movie, man, this was just great world building, fun as hell, just great pacing, everything about it. It was just a blast.
I think this for sure would have been on my top 10 had I remembered that it existed. God damn it. Yeah, check out They Clone Tyrone. It's on Netflix. My number 4 is How to Blow Up a Pipeline. This was like Kevin said, it is a really finely executed eco thriller, and I was pretty much hooked on every second of this one. Highly recommend it.
yeah, that's another one that kind of. Once again, my difficulty is always like the 9 and 10 spots on my list, and then it feels like there's like a 5-way tie for 11th.
Yeah,
That's on there.
all right, number 3, down to the top 3. Kevin, or I'm sorry, Ken. What is your number 3?
My number 3 is The Boy and the Heron by Hayao Miyazaki.
This didn't quite make it to my list, but I did get a chance to catch up with this and enjoyed it immensely.
Yeah, it's really terrific. There's just so much happening here, visually and thematically, but through everything that happens, it's always just so centered in the true depth of this story. That's the thing that I couldn't get over, and I was so impressed by, was just that level of command to this story. And of course, you don't expect anything less from Miyazaki, but just another opportunity to see just those skills as a storyteller on display, was just the what I kept coming back to.
The level of animation, like the quality of the animation, like the fire scene and all,
Yeah.
I mean, just
And it's utterly breathtaking to look at.
every time one of these Ghibli movies comes out, I think to myself, well, maybe this will like cause a resurgence in 2D animation, like mainstream 2D animation in America, but it never does. Like we're still stuck with like the whole CG, and it seems to be getting worse too. Like CG animated movies seem to be getting like the quality wise seems to be going down. Like I saw a trailer for that Migration movie, and I was just like, oh my god, it looks so ugly. Of course, we have into like this like Spider-Man and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that are they're actually doing something different, but for the most part, Anyway, yeah. Boy and the Heron is great. Kevin, what is your number 3?
My number 3, and from here on out, 3, 2, and 1, I've noticed a theme here. It was really about like atmosphere and just vibe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's starting with Human Flowers of Flesh by Helena Whitman, which this is available on Criterion Channel. So this is just a really laid back, it's about a woman and it has a sailing yacht and her crew, and they decide to sail to the former headquarters of the French Legion in Algeria. And it's just like very episodic, just them kind of like laying about, just docking in the ocean, swimming, just all this like small mundane stuff, and it's just absolutely entrancing in a way, and it's just a languid pace to it and it almost like lulls you to sleep, really. But then it takes this interesting turn towards the end where it starts to become something that I wasn't expecting. Is that it's kind of it's not necessarily a sequel, but like it ends up following, or they find the character from Beau Travail, the Claire Denis movie, and Denis Lavant shows up at the end playing the same character from that movie from 1999, and just kind of like, so it's like this extension, like in the same cinematic universe, which was kind of surprising.
Yeah, that's interesting. All right, my number 3 is a pretty obscure one. A little bit of a controversial, little controversial. It's Killers of the Flower Moon by Martin Scorsese.
It's a big one.
I know. This, I expected this to be great. I think that Scorsese's one of the best directors in history, and this, I never read the book, so I was not super familiar with the story behind this, and it is just, it's crazy. It's just an absolutely insane story, and you have, one of the best directors in history telling this story alongside some award-worthy performances by Leonardo DiCaprio and Lily Gladstone, Robert De Niro. Just incredibly shot, gorgeous. Again, this is a pretty devastating story too. It's one of these things where it's like, this movie's like 3.5 hours long, and it starts like pretty rough, but then it just gets worse and worse and worse for these people, and it's just so horrific what happens. But it's still a absolutely stunning movie. So, Killers of the Flower Moon, that's my number 3. Ken, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is Aki Kaurismäki's Fallen Leaves.
There we go.
It's a movie that's both very sad and very warm, and it allows those feelings to coexist. And just a couple of great lead performances from Alma Poisty and Jussi Vatanen, and a wonderfully rich and textured story.
Great. Kevin, what's your number 2?
I was just telling Adam about this the other day, but I just found out that my boss is a big Kaurismäki fan, which was weird because he was just one day he was just talking about Leningrad Cowboys, and I was like, "Wait, the Kaurismäki movie?" And he's like, "Yeah." My number 2 is Topology of Sirens from Jonathan Davies.
Come back.
So, come back up top, number 2. Man, this thing was just. It almost felt like this movie was like tailor-made for me in some ways. It just, again, the vibe of it is fantastic. There is a little bit of that like city mystery because it's all about this woman finding these like cryptic like micro cassettes, and like Ken said, there's like sound design plays a huge influence in this movie, and just there's that little bit of intrigue of like this person trying to figure out, just kind of moving around the city based on these micro cassettes, and it's just something else.
Yeah, I definitely have to see this now. My number 2 is Poor Things by Yorgos Lanthimos. This is definitely a movie that's kind of right up my alley. It is probably the most visually arresting and aggressively unique movies of the year. It's funny, it's weird, it's got absolutely stunning set design, backdrops, just the costuming in this. Loved every second of it. Great performances here by Emma Stone, Mark Ruffalo, Willem Dafoe, Rami Youssef. I think, anything that Lanthimos puts out, I'm instantly into, and this is no exception. Easily one of the I think one of the most like visually spectacular movies of the year. So yeah, Poor Things, check it out. All right, we're at the number one spot. Ken, what is your number one film of 2023?
My number one is Asteroid City.
Wow,
The new Wes Anderson.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh man, I forgot about this movie.
It unfortunately just didn't make it onto my list. But I love Wes Anderson.
It's terrific. I don't know. It's I've had enough of a difficult time trying to summarize all my thoughts in a movie and so far today. But yeah, it's just a truly wonderful, intricate story that's told with the typically excellent style of Wes Anderson, and he's got a large and terrific cast in it. Asteroid City.
Asteroid City, check it out. Kevin, what's your number one film of 2023?
Number one is Showing Up from Kelly Reichardt. And
Okay.
this is just, you know, the atmosphere of this movie. Just the, you know, this one I would say, I guess the top three all kind of have that like languid pace to it. Just that kind of meandering slowness to it, which I just thoroughly enjoyed. I think this one got taken over the edge with the art aspect of it. Obviously, I found this movie to be rather funny in spots, and then of course the Andre 3000 flute,
The flute
soundtrack.
score.
Yeah, the flute score just like really added another layer to this, which it was surprising. And then, you know, for him to come out with the flute album later, it was just like, oh hell yeah.
Which I haven't listened to yet, by the way.
I still haven't either, but like when I was watching this, and you know, you hear his flute playing, and you're like, oh shit, he's actually like really good playing the flute.
Yeah. I was a big fan of this one also. I guess I
Same here.
kind of forgot. I didn't forget about the movie, but on Letterboxd it shows up as 2022, and I kind of didn't. I was thinking it was a 2022 movie.
And who honestly can keep track of what year it is anymore?
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, I hate how they do, because they go by the like premiere, which is always the festival date.
In previous years, I was much more organized, where I would like keep an ongoing list of, but this year I just like filtered by 2023, and I think that was part of my issue this year, because I know that we saw that one in July showing up. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, my number one is Godzilla -1. This was, you know, I'm not like a rabid kaiju film fanboy or anything, but I do love them. I am becoming one, I guess. Since I got that Godzilla box set, the Criterion one, and went through those, like I am kind of turning into a bit of a kaiju fanboy here. This is probably one of the best Godzilla movies ever made. It is not just a monster movie, but it also tells an incredibly heart-wrenching war story, and the characterization here, you know, I think any good Godzilla movie, there's a lot more going on than just Godzilla. Like I feel like, you know, Godzilla might be like the backdrop or the catalyst, the thing that brings everything together. But like, you know, with like Shin Godzilla played out more like a political thriller than a straight up monster movie, and this feels like a war drama, and a love story as well. That's kind of wrapped up in this Godzilla film. But everything from the score to the effects work to the again like massive set designs on this, like seeing like post-war Japan that is like being ravaged from bombings and everything is just it was incredible. Loved every second of it. Highly recommend it. If it's playing in the theater in your area, go see it on the big screen. It's totally worth it. Godzilla -1 for me. And that'll wrap it up. What did you guys think? Were there any other ones that like you wanted to like any kind of honorable mentions or anything that you guys maybe didn't make it on the list but wanted to highlight for whatever reason?
I think basically every of the, honorable mentions that I've put down when putting together my list, we mentioned were on someone else's list, with the exception, my other honorable mention of the year is, besides Holdovers, How to Blow Up a Pipeline, Killers of the Flower Moon, showing up, Barbie.
I did like Barbie. I wouldn't say it was in contention for, I don't know if it would be an honorable mention for me. I'll tell you what one was for me is Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. This was actually my number 10 for quite a while. It was such a fun, entertaining adventure movie, and I feel like we haven't had a really good like fantasy adventure movie in a while, and I think that they did such a great job with that one. So I would give that a special shout out. Kevin, was there anything for you that you want to mention?
A couple of things. The first thing I will say is that I was surprised by Barbie. I enjoyed that far more than I was expecting myself to enjoy it. A couple that I would throw out there. Another slam dancer is Yelling Fire in an Empty Theater. That came out finally this year. That's another, and that's like a low budget indie. That's on Tubi as well. That's a mini DV. Another Netflix, the Nimona animated movie. I thoroughly enjoyed that one. And then two that I kind of crammed in at the last minute that didn't quite make the top 10, but they were just on the outside, and that's Happer's Comet, which is on Mubi. And another one on Mubi, which is Queens of the Qing Dynasty from Ashley McKenzie.
Nice.
You know what else was good? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Another honorable mention I want to throw out there, Blackberry.
Oh, man. Yeah. Friend of the show, Matt Johnson. Mm-hmm. I very much liked Blackberry. I had a really good time with that one. Yeah, I guess that pretty much covers it. There was a couple other ones. Bottoms I liked a lot. Past Lives, of course. That's on a lot of people's lists. Didn't quite make it on mine. On the horror front, I would say that No One Will Save You and When Evil Lurks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When Evil Lurks is definitely one that would mess you up. And I think that this has been a really good year for animation too. In previous years, I feel like we've had like maybe one decent animated movie. There were some years like when we would do voting for the OFCS, like I wouldn't have seen any animated movies, or maybe one. And this year, I think we got Spider-Man, we got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, we got Nimona, we got Boy and the Heron. So I think it was a pretty good year for animation. And then, of course, that awful Wish movie that I didn't see. I really hope that doesn't win any Oscar.
I've also heard a lot of wonderful things about Robot Dreams, but I have not seen it.
I haven't even heard of this.
It's an animated film. It's also one of those no one can seem to agree on what the release date is, so maybe we'll talk more in 2024 about it.
Yeah, maybe.
I think Neon's putting it out.
Nice. Cool. All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for this year. Thank you so much for listening. You can send us your questions and topics to podcast@filmpulse.net. And if you could, just take a minute to review us on iTunes. That'd be great. For Kevin Rakestraw and Ken Bakley, my name's Adam Patterson. We'll see you next week.